Hello, this is Couture Mace, building-based math coach at Morningview Elementary School. So we just wrapped up our very first coaching lab, and we are all under construction. First thing that stood out to me from the coaching lab that I love to reflect on was the conversation that we had about data. Data should drive everything that we do as coaches, and it should be a part of our conversation. So I want to make sure that I'm enforcing the data-driven conversations, data-driven planning, data-driven assignments, activities. All of those things should be based on data, whether it is past ACAP scores or whether it is recent iReady scores, weekly classroom assessments, or even daily exit slips. Quarterly tasks. All of those things should be a part of our conversations, not just PLC meetings and not just when we're planning a unit, but part of our conversation. That way you have your factual evidence when you are planning things or asking teachers to do things. The next thing that stood out to me, speaking of planning, is collaborative planning. I do plan with my teachers, but I must admit that I have been guilty of doing a lot of planning for the teachers. So I want to make sure that as a coach, I am engaging with that collaborative planning and giving them a chance to take ownership of their own instruction in their classrooms so that they can provide feedback to me and I can provide feedback to them, and it can be more of a partnership instead of a sponsorship. Lastly, my next steps. Like I said, I want to do more planning and I want to make sure I had data-driven conversations. But another big thing that stood out to me was the slides. So I'm now trying to employ the teachers to use a little bit more of slides and instructional supports for their instructions instead of just the book. And if they use the book, that's fine, but showing them how to use the bits and pieces of the books, focusing more on problem solving. So just to give an example of what that would look like, I actually went home and started working on a slide for third grade just to see how it would look. And we started with a number talk, with a number talk image, and then the learning target, vocabulary. And then we went into like an ACAP problem so that they could solve that and get ready for ACAP. And then we went into investigate the math. And even for teachers, I want to make sure that we have that conversation about what does dialogue look like and sound like in the classroom. And going on, even preparing them to use manipulatives and prepare them to have those collaborative phases in their classroom with the students. Also, making sure they know when to model and when to work independently. So, and when to, I guess, distribute homework as well, if they choose to do so. And also preparing them for station. So if I use the model that I have here on the screen, then you guys will see that they are all ready for them to go from the beginning of their math lesson all the way to the end. So I really enjoyed the coaching lab and I am looking forward to it. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity.